Alrighty, this is 180 milliseconds too late, the SSA Rocket League podcast. Welcome to it. And I had a rather bizarre experience, as we've become accustomed to. This stream is always plagued by technical errors, and when I hit live, Streamlabs said, "Oh, check your. There's an error. Check your internet connection. There's a problem with this." And I was desperately trying to solve that. And then I saw chat come to live. So even though there was an error, we went live. So hopefully you're all here and I'm all here. So, and I guess first out the gate, I have to say thank you to Blank for the sub. Much appreciated. And to Christian Beast for the follow. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the party. And then in chat, we have nobody. Hey, Werty's in chat. What the hell's he doing there? Red Flash, Geronimo, Rusty, Blank. Wish I could stream like you. And Gore was here earlier. And Q Keith, what's up? All right, cool. So tonight is all about the team that is going to Worlds, the team that has secured the second wildcard slot at Worlds. Now, it was a razor, down to the wire finish at the last regional. Going into the regional, the four teams vying for that spot was separated by 10 points, but three of those teams were separated by 4 points. It was absolutely crazy. And that is French class, of course. And French class was so out of the running that if you look at the wall of the wall of fame behind me, do you see a French class logo? You do not. And to be fair, I do have the ATK logo, which was who they were before this. But who better? I think it was important to have a conversation with French class and get a vibe of who they are, what they're about, their thoughts about securing wildcard, their plans for wildcard. And we don't have Willu. Willu, I believe, is playing in some competitive tournament in Reunion right now. In fact, he's streaming live. So if this gets boring, you can go and watch Willu compete live. So I do have live in studio, so to speak, first of all, Werty! And then, sadly not on face cam, Sweaty Clarence. That's all I got. That's all we got for Sweaty Clarence, but he is here. And then and then Leoxy, who's even worse. I just have a logo. But they are all here. So gentlemen, good evening and welcome. And to avoid the chaos of us all speaking at once, I just want to do a quick round. And starting with you, Werty, all I'm going to say is congratulations. You're going to Worlds. You're going to Düsseldorf, Germany.
Not letting you have that. It's fine.
Okay, fine. And of course, there we go. I think I've got my technical issues out the way. Werty, you were muted for most of that. And basically, so he doesn't have to repeat himself. He just said he wasn't going to miss out a second time in a row, finally going to Worlds. Sweaty Clarence, how are you?
I am very good. It's quite insane to think that going to wildcard when, at a stage I was completely out of the running.
Absolutely. Crazy. And then Leoxy, the coach, who's also representing Willu, because Willu is, I'm given to understand, not a man of many words, but you would have been here regardless as the official translator. But Leoxy, you're going to Germany as well.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been quite a run the whole season, but we made it, so I'm really proud. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure, can chat hear the audio? Because I just want to make sure we're all good. Are you hearing everybody? Okay, nobody says yes. Okay, good. So, woo! Okay, we're not, there was a problem earlier. Okay, good. All right. Well, gentlemen, this is awesome. Now, Werty, You I know. I mean, you've been around this block a couple of times when I got into the scene, and I have to say, June is my anniversary month. It was 4 years ago that I got into Rocket League content creation and all of that. So celebrating an anniversary month, but almost from the beginning, you were a figure within the community, which was very, very small. Back in the day, there were sort of a few people sort of who were doing well, but you were sort of in and around. But I think, Werty, give us the whirlwind tour of in the article that was published on NAG. You said you've been playing this game for 6 years, but at which point was there I'm going to compete, where it was like I want to be a competitive Rocket League player?
So we used to have these basically like 6-man tournaments on PlayStation 4. And it was solely on EU because we didn't have servers at the time. And the very first one that I got called to do was, I think, commentated by Capes and DF, if you remember DF by any chance.
Sure.
I was MVP of that tournament. We won. It was myself, Pro Noob, and I can't remember who was our third, sadly. But yeah, we won. I got like a mystery universal decal for some reason, and from then I was like, "Hey, this is kind of fun. Let's keep doing this."
Now, how long? Because if you're 20 now, right?
Yes.
So if you've been playing 6 years, so 6 years ago, so you're the age of a few of our people that are trying to make people like, I think Ruster is like 14 and Max is like 14 or 15. I mean, there's a lot of youngsters around. So you started playing then and thought, okay, well, maybe I can make a living winning decals. Okay, and then walk me through very quickly where you were from a Rocket League perspective when RLCS was announced, because we'd pretty much done all we could. There was kind of VS Gaming was the only thing going on. So where were you then at that point, just prior to the RLCS announcement?
I think the timeline for me is a little bit misty. I can't remember exactly what tournaments were going on, but I'd played in VS for about 2 years, and then it was Intel World Open. I think that was the big one just before.
That's right. That's
Worlds. That tournament was actually huge because I thought we were going to win. I thought we would have gotten first seed in SA. We lost to the old Pirates team.
Yeah.
But that core of myself, Happy Beal, and Phallus, I thought would have done very, very well at that point. If it was then moved over to RLCS next season. Okay. And then Phallus left. So yeah.
Yeah, that was sadly some poor timing there.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I think after that, and I think once the hype hit, everyone sort of made a lot of decisions very quickly. Like everyone was like, okay, I want to have the best shot. Let's do this. Let's try new things. So a lot of things changed, and then we went into that first season of RLCS. All
right, cool. Then anyone in chat, if you have questions, you of course are more than welcome to ask those questions. Put your questions in chat and we'll collate them. Hopefully Gore is still here and he feels like doing this for me because I didn't even ask him. But if he doesn't, I certainly will. We'll keep tabs of all of your questions and we'll ask it of the team either as we go or maybe at the end we'll do a round of all the chat questions. So if you have questions for French Class as a team or Werty, Sweaty or Leoxy, drop them into the chat. All right, Sweaty Clarence. I'm trying to think when I became familiar with your name because it was certainly during last season, but it was like, oh, this is a pretty groovy name, but no idea that you would have the impact on the scene that you did. But take us through your journey in Rocket League. When did you start playing? How did all of this evolve for you?
So basically, one day after school, I went to my friend's house. This is probably, I think this was back in like 2016, so I was still very young. And he showed me this game called Rocket League, right?
Okay.
So I played a bit. I saw you could do. People were starting to learn air dribbles and stuff. I was like, okay, this is quite a cool game. So I ended up getting the game on PS4. But I only ended up playing for like a week or so, and then I got kind of bored. So then fast forward to 2020.
Oh man.
I picked up the game again for the first time, and I started to enjoy it. I played with some mates, and started climbing the ranks, found it fun, and then basically, that's how I started playing.
And who was your first competitive team?
So there was a stage where I was going to team with, for the first ever RLCS regional. I was going to team with Rocky and then Mr. Wacky, very OG old players. Yeah. So that ended up falling through, and I ended up teaming with Olympic, Just Specs. Yeah, Olympic and Just Specs.
Okay.
And we actually ended up making top 8 in the first ever regional. But
wow.
under Exotic Esports, yeah.
Okay, I remember that. So that would have been fall split regional 1.
Yeah, long ago. Yeah.
Long ago. It was only a year and a bit ago, Brad.
It feels like long ago. Yeah.
When you're young, it feels the time has a different perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, I see a question has just come in, and I might as well ask this question now since I'm on talking to you, Sweaty Clarence. Where the hell do you get a name like Sweaty Clarence?
So when I was younger, I was a bit chubbier, obviously had bigger cheeks and everything, right? And I had a bit of a fish cap for my teeth.
Okay.
And there was this TV show called Clarence, and it had this like main character, and apparently I looked like him.
Okay.
So my nickname became Clarence, and then the sweaty part was my friends at school, we obviously enjoyed gaming, so we created this clan, quote unquote, called the Sweaty Clan. So
Okay.
we all made the start of our name Sweaty _ something, and mine was Sweaty _ Clarence. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Listen,
Yeah.
I do think SSA has some of the very coolest names in the global scene. So if we're not dominating the Rocket League globally, we're at least showing up with cool names.
Want to dominate something.
All right, and then Leoxy, let's have your story quickly. Where are you from? How did you get involved with Rocket League, and how did you get involved with this team?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been playing the game for quite a while, and as soon as I started coaching around, 2019, somewhere there, I went from a few teams in Europe, and when I discovered the SSA scene back in last off season, so after I watched Worlds, I kind of got interested, and I think one of the first things that I saw was actually one of your streams, Greybeard, and then I just realized like how passionate this scene and the whole region is, and that just made me want to get involved, and
Awesome.
and then after a bit of talks with Werty, it just ended up happening,
Okay, and where are you based? Where do you live? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I live in France, in the French Alps, and
Sure.
people always think I'm Reunionese, just like Willow, but I am not.
Okay, but the French accent sounds different to what I'm used to, though.
Right. I think.
But you are French.
I am, yes.
Okay, someone in chat was saying you sound Scandinavian, which
really?
and he's Scandinavian himself. It's an interesting accent. It's not a bad accent. It's a very good accent. It just didn't sound stereotypically French. Okay, cool. All right, fabulous. So that's the whirlwind tour through. Basically who you are and all of that, and keep your questions coming in chat. I am noting all of them, and we will get to all the questions, so you're welcome to drop them in, then I'll make sure that they get asked. So let's whoa, Noxus from Limitless has just raided with a huge number of people. So welcome to Noxus and all of your people. We're having a conversation with French Class, the team that is going with your team to the wild card. Oh my god! All the follower things are going to come in. I wonder if I can mute that. I have to. I don't know. We'll just have to live with it. All right. So let's talk about the end of the winter split. And Wordy, I'm going to come to you for that because by the end of that split, 80k as you were then, you were sitting fifth. And a full sort of 22, 23 points behind second place. And I know, certainly from my perspective, I was like, oh man, I think that's 80k out of the race. And you tweeted probably immediately at the end of that split, there or thereabouts. And I remember just reading this and my heart felt very heavy for you. It was like, does nobody want this as bad as I do? And it was filled with such emotional angst about where you found yourselves, and you were so clearly disappointed. So take me through the days after that, and where you were. Did you feel you were out of it, or was it a case of like I've got to find a way, or was it a slow evolution?
I think at that point it hit me again that there's nothing guaranteed. Like, just because you have been here a long time and you've played very decently for a long time doesn't mean that you're ever gonna hit top 2. That's not just how it happens. So we always knew with a specific playstyle that we wanted to play. I think because myself, Leoxy, and Willu were part of the initial plan, like all the way from the beginning, yes, we all knew how we wanted to play, what we wanted to do, and it was kind of hard finding the way to do that, like, and finding like everything to mesh together with a player. So after that, I kind of went on a full mental reset. I think I took 2 weeks off. I went to my brother's place and I just kind of chilled and took a break. We went back into it. We started trying scrims, and I mean, I think Swiddy will tell you the story because to me it's still very funny. But we trialed him before the second split. And he straight up said no. So, yeah, if only he joined earlier. Hey, that's one thing. He would have made our lives so much easier.
I gotta make the story better. I gotta make the story better.
Okay, go.
He just made it so much more interesting.
Oh no!
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
No, but I mean, joining later made our story better.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait until you're down and out and come and.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think once we played with Swiddy, we saw he has like a really good mental. He was exactly like what we needed. He played the right game. He put in the hours. It was very fun playing with him. And at that point, when we had no pressure, when we were just like, okay, boys, let's just play for the sake of it. Let's just have fun. Let's just try and make a push. We knew it was possible mathematically, but we didn't care. We were just like, all right, let's just play the game, see what happens. And it actually did happen, which is huge.
Now, I'm gonna go to Leoxy for this question, because much was made about by the casters and analysts, and I'm always amused by our desperate need to have content when we're, talking about teams, talking about players, and we try and find storylines. And it seemed like the big storyline for this third split was the new third. Sweaty joining you guys, Eli and Shadow swapping teams, and there might have been one other, but it seemed like there were these new thirds who were making a difference, because Shadow did far better on Orlando Pirates than he did with Apex, but Eli did far better with Apex than he did with Orlando Pirates. It was kind of weird. So we were spending a lot of time talking about that, but it occurred to me during this last regional that it seemed more, rather than the individual skill, it just seemed like these teams were synchronizing a lot better. There seemed to be better communication, maybe just getting on better. So Leoxy, my question around that is, how much of a factor was, like, how well is the team getting on, and was there a big difference with how the team worked together?
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know how Apex and Pirates worked internally.
Sure.
But it definitely was very clear that it took them a bit of time, or at least longer than it took us to, kind of get a feel for each other, build our playstyle like we wanted. And I think what worked for us is, like Werty said, just really having fun. You know, we were literally just enjoying playing scrims all together. Chemistry was clearly there, like right off the bat, and like we were going into the first regional, like we have been like we had been playing for like a whole season together, right? It was like 3 weeks of practicing, but it felt like so much more because chemistry was just there. You know, we didn't take too much time to learn each other's playstyle, and I think that's probably what made the biggest difference. Yeah.
And then Sweaty, at what point? I mean, Werty did make this point on an interview on the stream over the weekend. What he just said, like, let's just go and have fun, let's enjoy ourselves. But surely at some point, you go like, we're having fun, but you go, hold on, guys, maybe we could actually. At what point did it become a serious topic of conversation that we could actually do this?
It must have been after we made the grand finals for the second regional.
Okay.
I don't know which one that is. But yeah, so we made the grand finals for the second time, and then it cut our gap down. I'm not sure, but it cut our points gap down immensely.
4 points.
Yeah, to 4.
4 points.
It cut it down to 4. Yeah, we weren't even thinking about points. We were just thinking about playing and having fun. And only after we came second, the second regional, is when we realized that we can do this thing. We know we put in the work, and we probably the hardest working team. We're actually probably the hardest working coach. I know I can't really. No one can take my word for it, but that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, and we just worked so well together.
And then Werty, I was under the. In my mind, my concern about you guys as a team, after the second regional, you guys had done so well, and my thought was, now that the wild card, you're in serious contention for that. There's a change in dynamic there. You know, it's very lacquer. We've all played Rocket League when we didn't care about our rank for some reason or another, and it's awesome. You're out there, you're just doing the thing. You win, you lose, whatever. It's great. But as soon as then you do well, and then whatever goal, whether it's a new rank or in your case, a serious possibility of making wildcard, it changes the dynamic. And I was amazed. I was so impressed with how you played in the third regional because of that. Because by that time you were you knew that you were chasing this. And it didn't seem to impact. So I don't know if that was a process that was managed, or if it was, guys, let's just carry on having fun, or how did that all happen?
I think there's like two main ways that I approached it. I was always under the impression that internally what I feel and how I think should be separate. What the team is able to do and how we play on the day needs to be that group effort. And between Leoxy and I, how we kind of worked on it was we all knew that we're not supposed to be here in the first place. We said that just before we played Limitless as well on the last regional. We said we're not supposed to be here. Whatever happens, happens. But we kept the mental up so well, and I think we just gained confidence off of our actual performances. We said, okay, well, why not? Let's just play well. Let's just play our best Rocket League, leave nothing to chance. And then on a personal level, it was more, okay, if I didn't want to, I was more afraid of messing it up for everyone else than I was for myself, because I had full acceptance that like the result will be the result. I can't change that, but I'm gonna put my damn best there and try and make these boys like actually like push through. I want them to have a world's spot, and we deserve it. So yeah, fair
enough. Well, certainly after that split, there's no question in anyone's mind that you do. And have you had? Continuing with you, Werty, have you had any? I mean, you know all the other players. I mean, from Happy to Mr. Low, Archeon, Cams. These are people who you have played with and against repeatedly over the years. And I don't know if you've had conversations with them, because obviously there's massive disappointment on their side, as there would have been on your side if you had not made it. So I don't know. Have there been any conversations post regional?
there was just a lot of support, being like, represent well and make us proud. Well done for the season, and that's completely understandable, because even when I messed out last year, it's at the end of the day you kind of want just the best representation for the region. You just want whoever goes needs to play Insane Rocket League. You need to really make an impact, and everyone understands that. I think that as a community always binds us, for the fact that we're still small and we want to make some sort of difference. Like over and above the fact that you beat us out to this. Yes, that sucks. I completely agree. It breaks you, but it's very nice to see that everyone is still very supportive. We all have that camaraderie between each other.
That is remarkable, and it is something I have noticed amongst especially the OGs, the guys who've been around a long time, who I think may have a deeper understanding of that. All right, so we're going to do a couple of chat questions, and if you have questions in chat, fire away. I am noting them, and I will ask them, and then we're going to get into some serious questions about what the next 2 months look like for you guys, in as much as you've thought about it, because suddenly overnight your life changes. It was like, well, if we don't win, life is normal. Now there's like, do you even own passports? There's all those sorts of questions, but we're going to come to that in a moment. So Werty, the chat that wants to know where you're all from. Werty, where are you from?
I am from South Africa, Mpumalanga, a very small farm town.
a small farm town in Mpumalanga. All right, and Sweaty Clarence?
I live in East London, Eastern Cape. Yeah,
sure, slummies.
It's quite, yeah, exactly. The slums. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay, and then Leoxy, we've covered you, but I think it's an obvious question, but have any of you met each other IRL?
No, we haven't.
No.
Well, I haven't met any of them.
So this means the first time you'll meet is probably actually, I don't know. Is there a direct flight to Europe from Reunion? There are, right? Europe to Reunion?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if you'll meet at the airport. I mean, the first time you meet may well be in Germany.
Possibly, yes.
That would be that would be quite kind of bizarre, but I guess that's the way of the world. So you're yet to meet in real life, so you've got to have that LAN experience together. And then to die for, well, I don't know if it was so much of a question as a comment, Sweaty. He said, don't forget to mention your team with your Pega.
Yeah. So before I joined SRZ, it was right before that. Before the season starts, this season. I was me Defunct and Yopego. We almost teamed up. We were like so close. And then Defunct decided he was gonna go to Apex. So then I got an offer from Ram, who was we're very good friends, and he was like, "Come trial with me and Zero and see." Yes. And we ended up gelling very well. We scrimmed Limitless to Divor's team, and we ended up beating them. I don't know if we beat them in the scrim, and then we ended up teaming together after that.
And then what happened with SRZ? Because you were a very strong team in the second split, and then it all.
We started off very strong. We started off with the top 4, and then 2 top 8s. We knew we were a good team. We knew we could beat some teams that no one thought we could. But then we kind of like slowed down. We ran out of gas, if you want to say.
Okay.
So then I went LFT, and then here we are.
And now here we are. Okay, so I don't know who. So how did? And I don't know who wants to answer this question. And I know I said before we started the stream that I wouldn't ask a question where you all had to answer. But I don't know who is best placed. But how did Sweaty land up on French class?
I think we can blame Willu. Like,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
I
Yeah,
think
you
we
go.
blame
Yeah.
Willu for the fact that he wanted Sweaty before. He wanted him for the second split,
Yes.
and yeah, that's when Sweaty decided to do other things. But Willu was always very keen on Sweaty, and I was like, I get you, but I'm not fully understanding what you mean. And then for the third split, I think Willu brought it up again, and we were like, okay. I think Loxy was also the very big fan.
Yeah, I from
yeah.
that second split, from that first tryout, I knew they would be a good match because I don't know, just play styles and personalities matched up, and I honestly understand more and more the decision of Sweaty, but once he did understand at that second tryout before last split, then it just worked out.
And how long, Leoxy, how long before the start of the third split did Sweaty come on board?
I think it was pretty early on. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but we wanted to after we took a break, like Bertie said, we took like a 2-week break.
Yes.
We really didn't want to lose too much time because we wanted to get as much training as possible because we knew mathematically it was still possible, and if we wanted to make it happen, then we would need to kind of catch up the fact that we're making a new like one month team. So I think it was pretty early on, and we kind of scrimmed as much as possible for like a month before the first regional.
Okay. And how soon into that was it? Did you feel? Was it an immediate thing that you felt you had something good going here? Were there a lot of kinks to work